Safety is the enemy of success. Be proud of your mistakes, take a risk, fail spectacularly, and then go out and fail some more. Welcome to Motivation Monday, and today we are talking about the prosperous coach, increasing income and impact for you and your clients. If you're a coach, there are some sections in this book that are going to take your breath away. There are so many nuggets in there. So I picked 5 of the key big nuggets that I want to share with you, particularly if you are an amazing coach, but you're under earning, you're not aligning with clients that you want to work with, you don't have the income or the impact that you want, then you have to listen to the rest of this really, really short video and make sure you share it with your fellow coaches. So if you're ready to dive in, let's go. So the first nugget is right at the beginning of the book when Rich Litvin talks about a conversation that started with him being asked, what's the secret to being an extraordinary coach? And he replied, extraordinary clients. The interviewer then asked, well, how do you get those extraordinary clients? And he said this: you must be fearless in your coaching, fearless in how you create clients. Show them what they cannot see, say what no one else would dare to say. If we are just listening and validating everything that our clients say, we're effectively just a friend. And that's what separates what he calls the pro coaches from the struggling coaches. That's point number 1. You're going to have to excuse me because as I go through the next 4 points, I'm going to have to use my notes because there is so much that I want to deliver. So point number 2 is that in the book, he identifies a huge long list that differentiates the struggling coaches from the thriving pro coaches. And I've picked out the ones that I think are most relevant that are going to help you start to move forward, like as soon as you hear these words. So the first one, the struggling coach thinks that getting clients is the hard part, constantly seeking more information on how to get more clients, looking for that magical marketing system. They think they just need to find a guru to teach them the right way. The pro coach, however, knows there is no hard part and they love the business side of it as much as the coaching. This is something that I see all the time. We go into and start our business because we are passionate. We want to help people. We know we can have an impact on them if we can just encourage our clients to see those possibilities and to do the work. But so many of us are heart-led, passionate soulpreneurs, and we don't understand the business side of it. And that is the thing that kind of robs us of our passion, because we don't know how to make the marketing work, how to attract or generate the right clients. Effectively, what then happens is that you'll see so many small business owners buying course after course after course, not implementing the work because they don't have the time or they don't have the belief system to support that. And then they find themselves in exactly the same position, only with less cash in their bank. And it perpetuates this whole cycle that there is something outside of you that's missing, that your business won't work, rather than understanding that it's something within you that's missing, that's not allowing the business to work. So I love that first point. Then he goes on to say that the struggling coach tries to please everybody and wants to be liked. The pro coach focuses on service and does not try to please them. They know being uncomfortable is the only way to grow. Now, when you first start out in coaching, it's really easy to want to appease people, to say, yeah, I hear you, but then not follow that up with a challenge. Now, I'm hoping that if you're a coach, then you have also got a coach that continually challenges you, and you know that growth is, that stretch is always going to be uncomfortable. So I want to encourage you to really, really know this one. It's not about them liking you. And what I've realized myself is that if we can have this conversation on a strategy call or on a connection call and let them know that during these sessions, you know, we're not here to create a friendship, we're here to create growth and forward momentum and expansion for you, the client, then you've already preempted them and presupposed them to what's coming. I think that's really super important. The next thing he says is that the struggling coach has huge dreams that overwhelm them, but the pro coach has huge dreams and takes tiny steps daily. You need to go check out my previous Motivation Monday books sessions where I've talked about the slight edge and I've talked about atomic habits, who all talk about the difference between successful people and people that fail at their dreams. Is that the people that fail underestimate the power of the consistent, small, daily, seemingly inconsequential actions that make the bigger difference. It's all to do with that compound interest effect. And this is exactly the same, because it's really easy for us to get caught in how big that dream is and how far away it feels from where we are right now. So much so that we take a step back and we don't do those small daily actions. But the pro coach has developed the mindset that says, I don't know how this is going to work specifically. I don't know what the outcome of this is, but I know that I can commit to my action. And they do it because they believe in their dream and they believe in the income and the impact that they can make when they move their business forward one tiny step at a time. Next, we're talking about the money. So the struggling coach is scared to ask for money and charge a high fee. They're scared of rejection. They're scared of ridicule. They're scared of judgment, right? But the pro coach knows that fees are just a filter for the clients that you love to coach. He talks quite in depth about this and how he has had clients that have, sold things to work with him or gone out and made the money. And I can speak personally to that. I made a couple of really big investments in the last 18 months, and I knew that I had to generate the income, but I wanted that thing so bad, and I knew the value of that thing so bad that I made that happen. The struggling coach spends time on making things look beautiful, on being on social media. Think the rabbit hole of Canva and Photoshop. Whereas the pro coach just coaches their butt off. You know, to be a pro coach, to be a pro anything, to be an expert, there is a constant need for you to up-level your skills and in various areas. And, the procrastinating, where we spend time doing the things that are relatively easy, that don't tax us mentally and specifically emotionally. It's easy to do that. It's easy to make things look pretty and to work on your website and to make your social media grids look amazing, but you need to be coaching to be earning some money. So there's a really fine line there. The struggling coach hasn't invested in their own coach, and the pro coach is always getting coached at the highest level possible. I truly believe there is always another level for every single person to go to, and it's not necessarily professionally. Sometimes there's a deeper connection in our personal life, but we can always be improving. That's the difference between the caged, the comfortable, and the charged life. It's seeking that expansion. It's seeking that deeper connection to life. It's seeking the next level of personal and professional growth for you. So seriously, if you're not getting some coaching of some description, you need to start thinking about that. So then we're going now onto the third step, and he talks about 18 fearless disciplines, activities that work, but only when practiced. You know this as a coach. You know how frustrating it is when you have this amazing process and you're trying to take your clients through it and they're not doing the actions, but they want the results. Well, how many business owners are doing the same thing? So again, we come to incongruency. You have to up-level your actions as a coach to inspire others to do the same. Now, I can't give you the full 18, but again, I've taken my few favorites. So the first one is to sell the experience, not the concept. Where are you taking them? What's the journey? How will they feel differently from where they are now? What is their life going to be different? Who else is going to be impacted by that? How are they going to feel and experience that change as a person? So you're not selling the concept of coaching, you're selling the whole experience for them. He says, don't use email when you can use phone, like actually speaking to me on the phone or in person. So one of the things that I will say about this book is it's very controversial in terms of email list building and social media content, but nonetheless, it's still very worth reading in terms of how you can up-level your coaching skills. So, and it's right, how many times have you received a text or you've received an email and somebody's accidentally written a capital word and you go, oh my God, they're shouting at me. We've all done it, right? It's misconstrued, where it's much easier to pick up on people's energy by phone and in person and really create that rapport. So activate more of that. The third thing, needy is creepy. Start with their wants and not your needs. And this can feed back into the pricing and the sales conversations. If you're trying to sell because you need income that month, that is never going to be a good place if it isn't coming from a place of service and knowing that you can help. There is nothing wrong with wanting to hit sales targets, but not at the expense of the needs and the wants of your clients. So you need to hear them to listen and not to speak, and you need to hear them to listen and not to sell, right? So always start with where they're at and the needs and their wants and their needs. He talks about the lamppost metaphor. Be the first and only totally committed listener in their lives. Learning to be a good listener is such a key skill, and it can bring people to tears when they feel really heard. So like, be that lamppost for them, be the lighthouse for them, and let them speak. But remember, when we go back to what we just said before, it doesn't mean to say you have to validate everything that they say if you want for them to experience the growth and the challenge that they're looking for. Leave the conversation in the context of possibility, not affordability. We're going back to the whole money mindset thing again. Let them know it's possible. Let them know that if they want it, there is a way for them to make it happen. Give them personal responsibility. When you end a conversation, maybe you're having a couple of strategy calls with them, but leave it in a context of possibility and leave the door open. Don't make it about the price. And the last one I wrote down here is be great at what you do, because good just isn't good enough. Have the routines and the habits of a successful person, because people are watching you. Your influence comes from not just what you say, but from what you do. And people are watching you when you don't even know that you're being watched. You cannot sell a process if you are not doing what you're teaching. You have to be an advocate for that. That's going to set you apart. When people see you as the leader, when people see you doing what you're teaching them to do and you're requesting of them, you elevate yourself and they trust you and you have the authority. So you have to develop those key daily habits that say, this is how I've created success, and I'm asking you to do the same. The final step that I want to share with you from this book is the fact that magical versus magic. Fearless coaching is not magic, but it is magical in its impact, and the results will show you that. He goes on to talk about 8 components of fearless coaching. And again, I'm not going to read them all out to you, but I want to give you the key ones that I took out. So the first one is to be fearless and not a friend. We've talked about that before anyways, but I can't tell you how important that is. And the truth is, when they feel triggered, when they feel like a bit, there's a good chance there that it's an opportunity for them to have a look at, why has that happened? It's not because you're mean, it's because you're just enticing something out, opening up a wound that they've not dealt with yet. That's going to be the difference between them staying where they are or moving. And how you deliver that that's the magical component of that, where they trust you and they know that this is all part of the process. The next one, to go deeper and relentlessly find their secret dream, because every client has a goal behind their goal. We all want to truly be seen, heard, and believed in. So be the person that allows that client to see themselves in a totally different way and helps them to build a pathway to make that their living daily reality. He talks about, don't just take their initial goal as the goal, dig deeper, find out what that means to them. Why is that so important? What difference is it going to make? Because you and I, we all know as coaches that when we set a goal, the goal is the physical manifestation of an emotion that we want to feel. So be the person that's bold enough to say, what's that going to give you? How will your life change? What will you feel? How will you feel differently about yourself? Who else is that going to impact? Find the goal behind the goal. Be the person that lets them sort of step into their own limelight. Third step, pay absolute attention to their words, as their language creates how they see their world. This will help you to obtain greater insight into their behaviors. I love this one. Come from spirit, because this isn't about you. Tap into something deeper, your purpose, a higher calling, universe, God, whatever you want to do. Make this about them. Make this about serving. Make this about making the world a better place. And the last one I wrote down here was seek permission to go deeper. You have to create that depth of safety, that cocoon of safety, that when they're with you, they know that they can talk about things that they may not talk about with anybody else. And when you seek permission, would you like to go a bit deeper on that? May I ask another question of that? You're letting them know that you respect their boundaries, but you're also encouraging them to be more curious, to be more inquisitive, and to entertain different possibilities. If you love this, please like this and leave me a comment. subscribe, and be sure to hit the bell for further notifications, and make sure you check out the other videos that I've listed for you right here, and I'll see you on the next video.